You have just watched the beautiful Patrona's Twin Towers, but don't let that distract you from the fact that you're watching BERITA, as our next program is coming up next.
It is that time once again where Malaysians decide their new government. Will Party Democratic Rakyat continue to serve the nation, or will the four-party coalition Barisan Rakyat Malaysia be elected, or even the newly formed United Malaysia Party?
Tonight's the night, with secret under/intelligence no longer running as prime minister, nor in any cabinet positions. The uncertainty of this nation is on those who will form and lead the government.
Who will win? Who will govern? It boils down to this moment to decide the fate of 100,000 Malaysians.
We will have all the answers as the evening unfolds. We will bring you the latest results and reactions of this election.
This special coverage of the 14th general election, you will be guided by me, Jingo Killaman, and my colleague, Lush Debbie Mao. We'll also have It's Phillips, our longtime political analyst, who will be guiding you through this tonight.
I'll guide you on what will happen, question the guests tonight, and see and analyze the exit polls, and more. All these to help you who will emerge victorious in this election.
You're watching BERITA, and this is the 14th general election program brought to you by BERITA, Magina, and Polemic Research. Welcome to BERITA's Election Center, Kuala Lumpur, where we will bring you the latest election updates from SPR and the parties that are contesting in this general election. This will be the most historic election as we will decide who will be our brand new Prime Minister and who will lead this nation. Election since the 11th general election, the 2-year-old veteran Party Democratic Malaysia, the 4-year coalition of Barisan Rakyat Malaysia, and the new purple banner of the United Malaysia Party. Now, I personally believe that this election will not be like any other, because we're actually getting new faces, such as Avilian F1, Ahmad Mus 07, and HH Prince George as party leaders of their respective party or coalition. Let's move over to It's Phillips for the latest on the party leaders. Phillips?
Alright, thank you, Jingo. Here with us are Avilian F_F1 and Tun _2 2405, Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister candidates for Party Democratic Rakyat. Over here, we have Jonas von Kanzaki, candidate for Pahan for Barisan Rakyat Malaysia. And finally, we have Keong Von Roof, former Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for Labuan. Thank you all for coming, gentlemen. So first up, let's ask the questions to the party representatives. Now, firstly, so what do you have planned for home affairs, including any promises not mentioned in your manifestos? Let's start off from Mr. Jonas first.
All right, so the answer to that question will be that it's the same thing that we have in the manifesto. We don't have any extra things that are not written in the manifesto. So that's the multinational military exercise and new states, new communities, etc.
All right. How about for the Party Democratic representatives, Avilon and Tun?
Hello. So for the Home Affair Manifesto, we have highlight two key points, which is my sake and my friends. My sake is mainly focused on increasing the rate of crime reduction in Bandar, which will be a collaboration between PDRM and MOHA itself. Meanwhile, my friend is focusing on mental health and people recognition with a professional and qualified person in control. Other commitment not contained in the manifesto include to continue and be professional in our duty as minister, as well as to continue past programs or projects that have been not been complete in the previous term. Yeah, that's all from us.
All right. So, um, all right. So, now I have this question for both gentlemen before to move on. So, what are you guys expecting from tonight's election? Maybe we can start from Avilon and Tun.
Sorry, what was it again?
What are you guys expecting from tonight's election?
Well, to be honest, we don't really expect much, so we just hoping for the best and yeah, finger crossed.
How about you, Mr. Jonas? Are you guys expecting from?
Well, first of all, the obvious that the people will come out in big amounts and say their voice, their opinion on how the government should be led, and I hope that we do reach our goals of getting above 10 seats in parliament, to at the very least work as an efficient opposition.
All right. How about you, Mr. Kion? Uh, Mr. Kyung, are you there? Right. Moving on. Now, for Mr. Jonas, so do you think that the current state and federal territory program, currently consisting of Kuala Lumpur and Sarawak, is going well?
If we exclude the slight inactivity of the Kuala Lumpur City Council, then it's going very well right now, and we hope to expand it further.
So what do
Extent.
you mean by expanding further?
That is adding the states of Selangor and Johor, but we could possibly do another poll to make sure that the people want Selangor and Johor as the next two states or one state to come to this community.
All right. So how about for Mr. Evion and Mr. Toon?
Well, for the time being, I can say that both states are in good shape. Yes, if you are ready to say remark that KL and Sarawak have low activity, I can agree with you. The reason for this is that both states are still in development and are being worked on. So our plan is we will strive to find more opportunities and possible activities for next term.
All right. So Mr. Kyung, so what do you expect from this election tonight?
Well, you can't really expect much from, let's say, the exit polls. You can't really trust it as much since the amount of voters in the exit poll and the actual elections is quite a margin, and yeah, you can never expect much. But I think personally, I think that PDM will get a majority again. Not so surprising, but yeah, I doubt UNP would get much votes as well.
All right. So now, moving on. So for both parties, so is there any changes that you will make to make the state and that you'll make to the state and federal territorial program? Let's start off from Mr. Jonas.
The stuff already mentioned before, that is expanding to Selangor and Johor, and of course making sure that people really do want Selangor and Johor. Just double checking that those are the two states, or if they want only one state, that they want to be implemented next.
So how are these? So how will it be determined that people really want those two states? Okay, moving on. How about for Mr. Everyone and Mr. Tun?
So, of course, as we are moving forward, we have planned for such situations. Before we begin working on ways to improve these states, we will aim to ensure that it receives more attention, as this is the most important aspect in making it active. If it's achieved, we will be able to have our own government and governance.
All right. So, as of currently, the activity in local governments for Kuala Lumpur is currently lacking. So, is there anything you will do to improve it?
Oh, so about that, well, there's nothing much we can do. It mostly depends on the mayor itself, but we can advise the mayor to probably change the board, and yeah.
So, it's basically some slight form of government intervention into reminding the mayor to try to make it active, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about for you, Mr. Jonas?
Well, we plan to appoint new people to the Kuala Lumpur City Council who have experience and know what they want to do and should do to improve the activity in public service, community, and business. And also, we are planning to do more events in Kuala Lumpur, community events specifically, like let's say when there's a holiday, let's say Ramadan or anything. I do not really know because I'm not Malaysian, but we plan to make these happen in Bandar via the Kuala Lumpur City Council.
Okay, so is there any other forms of initiatives that you plan to do as well for the Kuala Lumpur City Council?
Excuse me, I don't understand you at the start of the question.
So do you have any other initiatives that you also plan to do for the Kuala Lumpur City Council?
What else? Nothing that I myself know of. So that's all so far.
Okay. Now, now, so, um, so what do you have planned for anti-corruption in the civil and public services? I mean, sorry.
Well,
Let me. Yeah. Sorry. Please go on.
well, for now we do not have anything to really confirm. But if we find that there is a need to implement anti-corruption plans for civil and public services, then we should implement those.
So it's basically depending on the future, right? Okay. For Mr. Everyone and Mr. Tun, what activities do you have planned to be held in relation with the Kuala Lumpur City Hall?
Oh, so we have a simple strategy for it, which is to hold a meeting between the government and KL City Hall to discuss any issue that need to be addressed.
All right. And what do you have planned for anti-corruption in the civil and public services, if anything?
So to answer this question, we have one thing in mind, which is the Civil and Public Service Act, as well as background check to deal with this issue.
Would you mind to explain further on those two initiatives?
So for the first one, we will go for Civil Service Act, which is will limiting some of civil civil servant tasks, so it won't go beyond our expectation. And for the second one is the background check, which is for, yeah, we like taking care of their background, uh, and determine whether they should go for civil service or not.
All right. So this so the topic regarding about road safety is rather quite a pressing issue since Bandar streets can be rather quite messy. So is there anything you wish to implement regarding road safety?
Oh, yeah, there is. We have come up with two things, which is weekly information about road laws, which will be presented in government news and on the Ministry of Transport server. And the second one is the road safety event. At the same time, we will be holding road safety events. Citizens will have a deeper impression of what they have learned, as simulation might be included.
All right. How about you, Mr. Jonas?
Well, we plan to establish the Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research, which is an institute that will research data on road collisions, thereby finding hotspots where collisions happen the most between cars. And then we can think about doing steps to prevent those car crashes in those specific places.
All right. Now moving on to next question. Do you believe that your cabinet ministers and deputy cabinet ministers are qualified for their roles?
Yes, we do believe that they can take on their ministries because we have picked out of all of our candidates to ensure that each ministry and deputy minister that falls to that ministry will be performing the best that we can give to the citizens this term.
All right. All right. How about for Mr. Vilo and Mr. Tun?
Of course, each of our candidates have unique talents, skills, experience, and abilities for their particular positions. We choose the best of the best and did not select folks at random. We didn't choose them randomly, yet we choose based on their background and experience.
All right. Now moving on. Um, for Mr. Kyong, what's your opinion regarding the new faces of politics in the current parties that are currently participating in this election?
Right, sorry. Well, everyone has to start somewhere. Politics is all about experiencing and learning new things to improve and progress Malaysia. You know, new faces are, it can be a good thing for Malaysian politics, and it could be perhaps a bad thing if they choose the correct person. But yeah,
Do you think with secret underscore intelligence no longer as prime minister, will this affect the election?
I personally can't say much about this, but some people may support Secret more than the current leadership of Party Democratic Malaysia, and those people might vote for other parties, but you never know. What will happen in the elections? Perhaps even a new party getting elected to be the next government.
So what made you think that that the people will most likely to support for other parties when Secret is no longer being as the prime minister? So what makes you think so?
As I said earlier, some people may or may not support the current leadership of PDM, so they might move to support the other parties, and yeah, vote for them.
Alright, so in general, what are your opinions on the manifesto that the parties have presented to the people?
Some of their promises are perhaps common, or the public could maybe bring it up out of their mind. But yeah, it's 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 quite unique to the past elections, considering that the previous government has brought up these different departments, these different like the Kuala Lumpur Council.
Alright, so have you ever felt that these some of the promises can be quite over ambitious? Have you ever felt so before?
Well, every party has to bring up ideas, and they may or may not know that they could probably they could probably fulfill the promise to the public.
Alright, so now may I ask on what's your reaction when a new party which is called the um sorry? Yeah, sorry. So what's your reaction when the new party, which is called the United Malaysia Party, um joined this election? Because it seems to be made of new people from a different country. So what's your initial reaction when you heard about the party and then like know who their members are?
Well, it's just only like a week ago since I found out about them. I I took a look of their manifesto. It was quite ambitious. It was quite interesting to see what they can come up with. And I went into their Discord to have a look at their cabinet, their candidates. It was, well, some of them aren't even in the MYS Discord. That probably sums up to basically why, why. And most of their, let's say their leader is American, I would assume. And just only like a few days ago, he only started to so-called talk in the Discord. um yeah, he also received quite a few criticism from the public in the World Politics channel as well.
So do you feel that will they be able to fit in the Malaysian political scene well since they come from a different political scene?
Well, the Malaysian political scene is quite so-called unique, considering that our sessions our time zone is quite something as well. If they are really from America, let's say, it will be quite hard for them to to join our parliament sessions. Could maybe even be 12 hours ahead of them. But yeah.
Alright, so thank you all. So thank you all, gentlemen, for today's question session. So now let's head back to Jingle Clement and Lush, shall we?
All right, thank you, Phillips. As 9 p.m. gets closer, we will soon know what we can expect out of this general election. However, we still have a little bit of time, so let's go to commercial break for a moment and we'll be ready soon.
Cutting straight to the front of the line, got my name on the list, give me room, step aside. I can show you how to have a good time, I'm that hard to forget, yeah, I'm one of a kind. Everybody trying to be somebody, ain't nobody else like me. Everybody trying to be somebody, I just wanna be like me. Be like me. Ain't nobody else like me. Be like me. Ain't nobody else like me. Elevator, take it straight to the top.
She want everything. She want the Gucci and the Louis things, all the juicy and canary bling. She want the kind of things that gonna stain, and she won't give it up until you give her just about enough. Those girls are so dangerous. It's enough to make a lover, bruh. Now do you want that love?
TOC, Delta 10. Be advised that's my call sign complete. Now moving to objective London. Out. Roger. On target. TID all packed. Go when ready. Alamo, you're up. On it. Flash. Go, go!
All right, welcome back to the election center. It is currently 8:58 p.m. It's currently 9 p.m. Apologies, Malaysia local time.
Now let's move on to the apologies. Right now, let's move on to the exit polls. Now, the exit polls suggest that PDM will hold a majority, while the while the sorry while the Barisan Rakyat Malaysia will hold the second most highest position, while the United Malaysia Party will hold none of the seats at all. So to dive in, it is estimated that the Party Democratic will hold 18 seats, while the United Malaysia Party, while the Barisan Rakyat Malaysia Party will hold 12 seats in Parliament. So yeah. So it's most likely that PR will most likely be governed again, as the magic number goes 16 seats in order to be the government of Malaysia. So basically, on how do we get such results is that we follow the formula that is stated inside the Parliamentary Elections Act Amendment 2021, where there's a formula inside which states on how are the seats calculated for each party based on the number of votes, the number of invalid votes, and the seats. Now, just to explain, on how the calculations work is basically where the total numbers. Hold on, apologies. So just to explain on how we gain such calculations is where firstly we take the votes for the party um, based on our exit poll survey we had, and after that we divide by the total valid votes minus the total votes for the parties which have failed to attain. Then from there on, we'll know on how many seats that party will most likely get. So, and the magic number for the party in order to form a government is 16.
Okay.
All right, so now let's take a look at our hologram. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the estimated overview on the number of seats that the parties will get. So just to say again, PDM is estimated to get 18 seats, while BRM will most likely get 12 seats, while UMP will not get any seats at all. Now, from this, we can conclude that it is most likely that PDM will form the government again, as they have managed to attain over 16 seats based on the exit poll results we have. So so we'll now move back to Jingo and Lush Daily Mao.
All right, 1 minute before the exit polls are released, the big question will soon be answered.
All right. All right, so gentlemen, so what are your reaction towards the exit poll results that we have shown earlier? Maybe you can start for Mr. Jonas.
Well, the thing is, KDM will continue to govern here, but we will reach our electoral goal of getting over 10 seats, so it's kind of mixed emotions from this poll because the new party also wouldn't get a seat in parliament, which means that we will not have as wide of a political spectrum in parliament as we could, but still, I'm more on the positive side from this exit poll.
All right, how about Mr. Evion and Mr. Toon?
So it's quite surprising, and we look forward to have more seat than expected. Probably 2, 3.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Keon?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What's your reaction towards the exit poll results?
Well, as I said earlier, the exit poll can't be 100% accurate to the actual election result, but it's not really that surprising that PDM has the majority in the exit poll.
All right, so let's discuss a bit about this general election. So for the past few days, inclusive of yesterday and today's one, it's rather quite let's just say exciting, I would say. Now, because as we can see, the results are like quite neck and neck. So in reference to the yesterday ones where the civil servant and public servants are voting first. Now, it's either one of the first few results. I think it's either the first or the second one is where we see that two parties got 50% of the votes. So, which is rather quite quite shocking. So, what are your initial reactions when you guys see the infographic? Maybe we can start off with Mr. Kyo.
Well, the pie chart is quite something. It's quite like a mystery, shall I say? Yeah, it's quite like a mystery where no one knows. The public doesn't know that who has the majority in that particular session. But yeah, it would be quite amazing to see a new party perhaps becoming the new government.
How about you, Mr. Jonas?
Well, what we can see here is that one party, or rather, the subject, because there's a coalition in play, is near half of the whole votes, including spoiled votes. And then there's one smaller subject and another medium-sized subject, which I guess pretty much follows the usual trend in terms of early polling in elections in the few past elections in Malaysia. So I'm gonna so far make the assumption that the biggest subject will be just like before, the party in Malaysia.
All right, and how about you, Mr. Evion and Mr. Toon?
So we don't really have comment on it. So we would just say let's sit and watch it.
All right, all right, so um, So what are your reactions when it so what are all of your reactions when it comes to the pie charts? Like it's rather quite close where like there's some sort of uncertainty, like what Mr. Kyon says, quite mysterious. Um so what are your like predictions or expectations from it? Maybe you can start from Mr. Jonas.
While my expectations are that that this election will go the same way like before, because I'll assume that every single pie chart has PDM as the biggest party, and that BRM could of course also gain seats and votes from it, which is gonna be good for us, and I'll be happy if that happens. And yeah, that's all I really got to say to the pie charts.
How about you, Mr. Evil and Mr. Tun?
So probably it will go like the exit poll because I'm not sure why, but it probably will go like that.
Right. And then how about you, Mr. Kyon?
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
What's your reaction when it comes to the pie charts that have been released by BERITA?
Well, I don't have much feeling about it. It's just a pie chart, but yeah, it's a mystery to everyone else.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so earlier, as I said, that there's one pie chart that shows that two parties hold 50% each. Now, I'd like to apologize that that is actually isn't quite true, because I didn't quite really saw the pie chart properly. So I'd like to apologize first before I continue on with this show. Now, moving on. So there are some questions earlier that weren't asked because due to the time we have. Now I shall continue on from here. Now moving on. So for Mr. Uh, Jonas, so many of your cabinet ministers are completely new. Is there a reason to that?
Yes, there certainly is a reason. And the main one is because the more experienced people, which we had last elections, have left the party mostly due to personal reasons or joining public services, or because of losing interest in politics. And now, despite our cabinet being completely new, we have chosen to interview and question each of our ministerial candidates if they can take on their role, and we have concluded that these ministers are ready to take on those spots and actively improve while they are in the ministerial position.
How about you, Mr. Evion and Mr. Tun?
Sorry, what was it again?
Oh, sorry. Apologies. Apologies. That question isn't meant to be directed to you. So apologies. Okay, so
Oh, sorry.
um, for Mr. Evion and Mr. Tun, so what will you do to to support the police officers of Malaysia?
Oh, so to the way we will support PDRM is to keep PDRM on track with our governance. We will, of course, provide them additional recognition, such as inspection, bringing PDRM name to global stage, and other such committable plans.
So, do you mind to explain further by the term inspection that you use? Like, what do you mean?
So it's like inspection from the government member from Moha itself. Yeah, inspection like just a normal inspection.
Inspection is in like checking internally on the organization itself.
Yeah, it could be the general, but this time we will go to like yeah something like internal thing.
All right. So, how about you, Mr. Jonas?
I do not really remember the question, and I was not focusing on the broadcast right now, so if you may repeat the question, please.
All right. So what will you do to support the police officers of Malaysia?
So for PDRM, we plan to work with the development team of MYS to enhance the experience for police officers, by which we mean specifically the roleplay experience, by which we mean many situations having their specific trainings conducted for PDRM, which already is happening, but we want to raise the consistency of these trainings happening and do our best to improve the training that PDRM gets in terms of specific situations like riots, protests, or anti-terrorism.
So you feel that the current training consistency is not quite sufficient?
Not exactly, but we want to increase it. It's already enough, but we want to push this even further.
Okay. So Mr. Keon, so what advice would you like to give from both parties when it comes to dealing with the police in general?
Well, I don't really have a good background to say this, but there's nothing much I can give, honestly speaking. But all the best to the two parties on what they are going to focus on with the police force.
All right. So now moving on. So what do you plan on doing to support the public servants in the Malaysian Armed Forces, Mr. Jonas?
So for the Malaysian Armed Forces, we plan to continue and increase the count of multinational training exercises with nations we already have alliances with or ties with, and also improve trainings. I mean, increase the amount of trainings for specific situations, just like the police has.
All right. So how about for Mr. Evion and Mr. Tun?
So we came up with the one that we assigned in the manifesto. Decisive efforts in finding out more about the Malaysian Armed Force and improving communication. So more attention will be paid to MAF in this matter, as well as care for their concern and so on, such as implication, how it can improve the thing.
Okay. So what do you have planned for the Ministry of Youth and Sports?
So things we have planned for youth and sports are bandar events jointly held with Kuala Lumpur City Hall. The next term should see these events being held after the job fair held at Plaza Rakyat. From there, we will have such events held on a regular basis. After that, we plan to continue efforts in MyHub visible in the community. We will continue to work on MyHub and make improvement where necessary and adding new features, activities such as a community library, ideation start, and board game like chess, which can be played virtually. So apart from it, we going to appoint new leadership for the Sport and Youth Association. We shall appoint new leadership and personnel for the Youth Sports and Youth
So
Association as soon as possible so that it can be holding its own activities on a regular basis be of interest to Malaysian.
all right. So how about for Mr. Jonas?
For the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we are planning to, just like PDM has already mentioned, change the leadership of SAYA. Also, we plan to reform, in general, the Sports and Youth Association Management Board and focus on making SAYA have more sporting activities and also include branding, encouraging people to create more local and foreign sports clubs.
All right. So, Mr. Kyon, now, regarding about the United Malaysia Party, do you feel that they have the capacity or the capability, or whether if they are suitable to hold to be the government of Malaysia, in your own opinion, based on their experience?
Well, as we could see that in the updates channel by the SPR, uh, their nominated candidates are 14, only 14 candidates. I don't think they could possibly go for the government seat. So I would assume that they would be a minority opposition. I wouldn't say that they would be a big opposition as well.
Okay, but how about hypothetically?
If they have the same amount of candidates as PDM.
Yes, as long as they have more than 16.
I mean, like, their manifesto is quite something, but I don't think they have been in the community as long as the other parties have. So they wouldn't be able to bring up these promises that the BRM and PDM have had.
All right. So, let's just say if they are MPs, do you think they will fit well with the Malaysian society and the public?
Well, as I said earlier, they are possibly from America. They could be 12 hours behind us, so I don't think they might be able to, join our parliament sessions. And yeah, I doubt they would be able to fit in the society, the community as well.
So they are. So you're saying that they are quite limited in terms of time zones.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Now, so gentlemen, so as you can see, once every 3 months, the BERITA studio will change for every election. So maybe so. May I ask on Mr. Evilon and Mr. Tun on their opinion on this brand new, fresh looking studio that we are currently in?
Well, I can't say much. It's amazing, and it's good to see there's improvement within Brita, and we would like to thank to Brita for inviting us.
Okay, so how about Mr. Jonas?
I mean, there's nothing to really say other than that this studio looks great, and that it has great functionality too. The camera systems and everything, it's just amazing and great work from BERITA's development team. So I'm even happy to be able to be a guest in this studio for the election.
Okay, how about Mr. Kion?
Well, I'm very honored to be invited in the Berita election night stream for the past 2 to 3 elections since. Yeah, it's quite interesting, and it's quite interesting to see Berita changing their studio every now and then. It's very beautiful. Props to the developers. The camera system is amazing as well. It moves. Yeah.
All right. Now, let's move on onto a topic which might interest the all of you, which is about the legal sector. So, as of currently right now, we didn't really heard much about the legal sector. So, so what's your opinion on its current inactivity? Maybe you can start off from Mr. Kion.
Well, I can't really say much as well since I'm not really that I'm not really that I don't really interfere with the judiciary. But yeah, it's lacking in judges, perhaps, lawyers as well.
So, in your own opinion, so what do you think are the factors that lead to the overall legal sector downfall? Like, what are the factors in your own opinion?
Well, in the community, there's not much people who are really interested in law, in being a lawyer, perhaps. They are really trying their best to find new lawyers and are really interested in committing their time to the judiciary.
Okay, so how about, so in your opinion, so what do you think that the government should do? Like, okay, although I understand that you didn't like really uh like handle matters regarding about judiciary, but I would hope that you would say your opinion on this, on how should the new government should do to revitalize the legal sector in MYS.
Well, as much as they can do is possibly promoting the judiciary system, and promoting the judiciary to let more people be interested with being a lawyer and be more interested in law in general. But yeah, hopefully the judiciary could be alive again. That would be very good to see.
Okay, so how about for you, Mr. Jones? So what's your opinion on the current inactivity state of the legal sector and the judiciary?
Well, just like Mr. Kyon here, I do not really care about law affairs that much, but I think that it is not good for the future of the nation and for its current state that the judiciary is lacking in ways, especially when it's an activity.
All right, so how about Mr. Evion and Mr. Tun? What are your opinion about this?
So, first of all, our priority is to get the court's activity back up. So, how we can do it? First, we are expecting new advocates and solicitor filling those vacant position, and therefore we can also expect court's activity to come back soon.
Okay, so does your party have any plans to sort of revitalize to revitalize the legal sector and the judiciary?
Yes.
Okay, so how about for Mr. Jones? Does your party have any sort of plans to revitalize the legal sector and the judiciary?
Well, one way we want to do this is via further activization of the University of Malaysia, alongside finalizing the idea of mock trials, which has been on the table for a really long time, and also expanding our judicial and legal service.
So is there any way that the interest from the Malaysian public will increase about being a lawyer, solicitor, whatsoever? So how do you think that the interest should increase?
Well, the mock trials could be a good idea to also present to the public alongside any other trials that will be happening, because that is one way that we can bring people to interest in in the law. And another way we could do this is a governmental campaign if that's what we have to do. That should be a kind of last resort because it does require a lot of resources to do that, and a lot of personnel to work on an efficient campaign. But if we have to do this, we should do that. A governmental campaign which displays what the fun parts of law to the public.
Okay, so how about for Mr. Ariel and Mr. Tun? Mr. Avion and Mr. Tun, are you guys there? Okay, moving on. Mr. Jonas, how will your party plan to provide education to people who's interested in joining the legal sector?
Well, I already kind of shaded the answer to that question before, which is reactivating the University of Malaysia, especially its law sector, by getting more people as rectors for that specific faculty.
All right. So so now let's move on to the next question. After the IPCC, or known as the Independent Police Commission against, sorry, never mind. So after the IPCC established, which is basically a commission that handles complaints against PDRM officers, do you believe that PDRM officers have the rights to defend themselves on allegations regarding their own self? Like, are they still able to do so?
Is that question for me? Just making sure.
After IPCC is established, do you believe that PDM officers have the rights to defend themselves on allegations regarding their own self, such as having the ability to do so? Like, are they still able to do so even after IPCC is established?
Yes, they should be able to defend themselves against allegations, but not against the results of some court ruling.
Okay, so would you mind to further elaborate on that if possible?
I believe that PDR officers should have the full right to defend themselves against allegations, which were reported to the IPCC, as long as that case wasn't fully resolved by the IPCC or any other organ of the government.
Okay, so how about Mr. Evion and Mr. Tun? Okay, moving on. How about for you, Mr. Keon?
Sorry, can you repeat again? Sorry.
After the IPCC is established, do you believe that PDM officers have the rights to defend themselves on allegations regarding their own self? Like,
Well,
are they still able to do so? Like, are they still able to do so?
well, I'm pretty sure PDRM has their own complaint server before. That's why, in my opinion, that IPCC isn't really that useful. But yeah, I wouldn't say that PDRM won't be able to defend themselves, as I'm pretty sure PDRM is also in the IPCC server, if I'm not wrong. I'm not really sure about this department, this commission.
Okay. So, Mr. Jones, earlier you said that you believe that that PDM officers should be able to um get their own should be able to defend on themselves. But how sure are you? Because realistically, it shows that officers that are being charged haven't been able to have legal support from the judiciary system.
That was because I misunderstood your question. I thought that you were asking about my opinion on if they should be able to defend themselves. If the question is that if they are able to defend themselves, then I honestly think they're not fully able to defend themselves in other ways than saying their opinion in the public.
So you feel that they are rather quite at a disadvantage,
Yes.
right? Now, now let's just say that if your government, if your party is chosen to be the government, do you think that the IPCC should be abolished?
Not necessarily, but
Okay. So, how about for you, Mr. Everyone and Mr. Tun?
Uh, it shouldn't be abolished because there are a few factors for it. First, PDRM might become inevitable, and people don't have their voice they can't speak their voice towards PDRM.
So, okay, so how do you ensure that the council members of the IPCC have high integrity and that they do not abuse their positions?
So I believe there was an act for it. Yeah, I believe the act will ensure their quality while serving as IPCC officer.
Okay, so how about for Mr. Jonas?
Well, I think including the reform of IPCC to let the PDRM officers defend themselves better against allegations, it should also include a research on how we could reduce the likeliness of council members of the IPCC abusing their power, and if we find an answer through that can be done through reform, then we should implement that. And alongside that, the government should make annual checks to prevent this too.
All right, moving on. So, now in your opinion, do you see Malaysia on the permanent 5 seat in the United Nations in the future?
I believe we should be a sovereign permanent 5-seat country because of our size, our efficiency, and the quality of our own nation, and also because we are a global power.
Okay, so how about for you, for Mr. Avion and Mr. Tun?
So yeah, we can see the vision of Malaysia becoming E5, but it always depends on the environment, the future environment of the UN, because time tends to change. Who know? Maybe there's another nation that could overpass us. But for now, yeah, we have vision for it.
All right, so now moving on to the next topic. So, in the transportation industry, how would you increase the number of citizens and foreigners using public or private transportation like buses or taxis?
So for that, simple answer, which is advertisement and using public transport day. Activity, events, campaigns for it, awareness.
Okay, so so for the public transport days where like no one is allowed to buy private vehicles and then they have to take public transport, right?
No, it depends, but we encourage the people to use public transport.
Okay. So how about for you, Mr. Jonas?
Well, we mainly should establish the Public Transport Council, which will work on integrating the buses and taxis, which will also include the e-hauling companies cooperating with the public transport companies. It's pretty much just my transit, and also work to improve the transport services for passengers.
Okay, so now so now the former chairman of UNEC was sacked due to allegation of corruption by the UN group administrator. Now, this has been a famous issue due to the fact that their administration has accused the Commonwealth of interfering in the VOGE. So, what's your opinion about this?
I have never catched that something like this has happened, so I cannot even form my opinion on what has happened. But from what I heard so far from you, sir, is that it's a good thing that he has resigned his position.
Oh, sorry. I shouldn't say VOG. I should say vote. There's been a spelling issue on the question. Apologies for that. But yeah. So how about for you, Mr. Evlon and Mr. Tun? What's your opinion on this issue?
Well, first of all, we think it's power abuse because Matthew was accused by election crisis or something. I forgot, but I can't give any deeper comments about it because there was, I think, hold on. Oh yeah, so I can say it's pretty much abuse of power.
Okay. So why not let's spice up this evening a bit by having a debate session. So so now let's have the topic on uh the opposition in Malaysian politics. Now, some feel that the opposition in Malaysia is rather quite weak. How would you support or argue against that? Maybe you can start off from Mr. Keon.
Well, I'm no longer in politics, so perhaps the opposition could, uh, gather themselves together and perhaps be more stronger in the future.
Okay, so how about for Mr. Jonas?
Well, for me, I have not been really active in Parliament for a long time, and not even am I right now really active in Parliament. But I believe that what we can truly say, what I can say right now is that we have given the current oppositional members from NSF some time to live into the parliamentary environment, and there are new parties, PERNAS, LSN, and PKR, which might get members in the parliament, and we should also see how those people will work for either the bettering or worsening of the quality of the opposition in Malaysia.
Okay, so now, as we all may have heard before, citizens helping police that phrase before. Now, but unfortunately, the help has gone too far in terms of citizens becoming vigilantes and shooting down criminals, which has kind of gotten some brush with the PDRM and the Ministry of Justice. So, in your own opinion, should vigilantism should it be supported or should it be opposed? No, if the citizens themselves have good intentions. Maybe you can start from Mr. Jonas.
Well, I think that the citizens should be able to only use their guns for self-defense when they are in real danger of a criminal offense being committed on them.
Okay, so how about for Mr. Evilon and Mr. Tuan?
So we should oppose it since it could obstruct PDRM officer from doing their job. And yeah, it's against the penal code, if you are aware.
So doing so for example, during shootings, many citizens and officers were caught in a crossfire because of vigilantism. So how would you regard these vigilantes as, despite they have good intentions to assist the police force on handling, for example, a terrorist attack? Maybe we can start from Mr. Evilion.
Sorry.
So okay, so during, for example, during terrorist attacks, many citizens and police officers are caught in a crossfire because of vigilantes. So, in your opinion, how would you regard these vigilantes, despite they have good intentions of helping the police to deal with that terrorist situation?
So the
Like,
most common thing.
what would you regard them as? Mr. Avilion? Mr. Avilion, are you there? Okay, Mr. Jones, what's your opinion on this? Like,
Well,
what would you regard them as?
Well, I think that when there's a shooting or a terrorist threat in Bandar, then people should themselves not even try to enter Bandar and attempt to leave or enter safe zones, or on general safer areas in Bandar, such as closed spaces protected by the police or army, so that the police can, without even seeing civilians run around open spaces in Bandar, protect the citizens most efficiently.
Okay, so now because I'm literally running out of questions due to the SPI is not releasing the results anytime soon. So luckily my team had sent me a website link on debate questions. I apologize for that, but yeah, I'm starting to run out of questions. So anyways, um damn it. Never mind. So anyways, so right now the results should be releasing quite soon. So as of now, we'll continue this debate session. My So right now we'll move back to Jingle Clement and Large Deadly Mao.
Good evening and welcome back to the live broadcast of the general election 14th. I'm here with Jingo Kiloman to my left. Given the circumstances that surrounds the release of the results, we are currently experiencing technical difficulties with it, and it will be resolved soon by about 9:55 p.m. We sincerely apologize for the delay in this results for not being released at a certain time. Therefore, I am going to sincerely apologize on behalf of the team and also behalf of SBR. Django Kiloman, do you have anything to say?
Not being released. Yeah, we sincerely apologize on behalf of the BERITA team. We'll get back, or we'll hopefully resolve the issue soon. So we apologize.
As of right now, the technical team is currently working a solution to ensure that the results are being released and they are accurate according to the election polls that were recently done just an hour ago.
Results will soon be released. Just bear with us. Hope to see you soon and hope you stick with the program.
Thank you very much for your attention. Right now, it is believed that the technical team is currently hoping to release the first 6 seats, so it will be released minute by minute. Considering that they're going to be 30 seats, we do ask you to be patient when it comes when the seats are be released. We'll go back to it's Philip. All right. The first seat goes to BRM, which is Perlis, P01 Perlis. For the rest of the results, I will now go back to Philip. So thank you for listening to Django and I. And we as I said again, we sincerely apologize.
Yeah. All right. So as of now, Perlis is currently being held by the BRM. Now, so Jonas, so what are your current feelings right now, considering that your party have gained Perlis as of right now?
I'm happy we're starting to roll out of the seats and that we are going to be holding the seat of Perlis from last elections, which, unless I'm mistaken, was my seat last election, so pretty happy so far.
Pretty happy that you managed to still hold it. All right, so
No,
all
Philip is
right,
doing it.
all right. We have the latest information that currently PO2 Kedah is being held by BRM. And that's currently 2 seats for BRM right now. Okay, so that means as of right now, BRM have 2 seats. Right, ladies and gentlemen, do bear with us as more are coming soon. All right, currently, PO3 is currently being held by PDM.
Sorry, third seat, Kelantan has gone to PDM. So P03 Kelantan has gone to PDM.
This means that currently BRM have 2 seats while PDM have 1 seat. Currently, PO4 is currently being held by PDM, which is Terengganu, is still a current PDM stronghold. Alright, so currently there's neck and neck. So what are your current feelings now, Evelion?
So our feeling right now is quite nervous, and yeah, we are nervous just to see that our one of our stronghold just gained by BRM, which is Kedah, and it was pretty much unexpected, but it is what it is.
Alright. So now, ladies and gentlemen, overall summary. Currently, PDM and UN currently PDM and BRN currently have 2 seats. They are currently neck and neck, while UNP still have 0 seats as of currently right now at 9:58 p.m.
P05 Seberang Perai is now being held by, has gained by BRM. I'll repeat that again. P05 Seberang Perai has been gained by BRM.
This means that currently BRM have 3 seats, while PM still have 2 seats.
P06 Pulau Pinang goes to BRM. Well, BM, sorry, apologies.
This means currently BRM have 4 seats, while PDM will still have is still currently having 2 seats. Alright. Alright, so while we are still waiting for more results to come, let us continue this interview/debate session. Now, now do you now, gentlemen, so do you guys feel that the current efforts taken to handle violent crime such as shootings, is it the current measures and if efforts, is it currently enough in your own opinion? Let's start off from Mr. Jonas.
Now, I will be talking slightly negatively about this. Now, I do not think the fault is on the officer's side, rather than the organization still has ways to improve. But yeah, we still have ways to improve in terms of responding to violent crimes. But it's not like we're the worst country at it, so I'd say just keep up the work and we'll eventually get there.
All right, how about for Mr. Avilion?
Uh, sorry, could you repeat it again? If you don't mind.
What's your opinion on the current efforts that is used to handle violent crime in Banda? Like, what do you think about it?
Oh, so we think that PDRM is really give effort to push and improve the sustainability to again this issue.
You gotta say it. '07, Perak Utara has been gained by BRM.
All right, so gentlemen, so what's your current reaction on the current results? Maybe you can start off for Mr. Avilion.
It is quite saddened to see some of our candidate has lost their seat, but we shouldn't. We should keep our head up and seek.
All right, so gentlemen, so what's your All right. So how about for you, Mr. Jonas? What's your current reaction?
Well, I have gained my seat of Kedah has been gained by BRM, and we currently are at 4 seats, with gaining Seberang Prai and Perak Utara, which makes me pretty happy to see that new people will be entering parliament very likely.
Alright. Sorry to interrupt. P08 Berat Selatan has been gained by BRM. I'll repeat that again. P08 Berat Selatan has been gained by BRM.
All right. All right. So currently, as of now, we can see that. Right now, currently see that BRM is currently on the lead while UMP is on second, while PDM is on second while UMP still have no seats. So gentlemen, so what are you guys hoping or expecting for tonight's results? Maybe we can start off from Mr. Jonas.
Well, I hope that the best government will be built up, and that no matter if it's BRM or PDM, that the best people will get into parliament from each subject, and that all of our ministers or PDM's ministers will get into parliament to let both the opposition and government work most efficiently.
All right, how about for Mr. Avila and Mr. Tun? Mr. Avila and Mr. Tun? Okay. Mr. Kyon, so what are your current reactions on this current results that we have?
Well, it's good to see that the BRM is leading in the results. But you can never tell this early if PDM is gonna gain back the other seats or BRM is gonna continue leading the results. So yeah.
All right, so what are you currently expecting from the current results we have now?
Well, I can't really say much about this. Uh,
All right.
Alright. Sorry to interrupt people. P0 Pahang Utara has been gained by PDM, meaning that BRM has lost Pahang Utara. Just to repeat that again, P09 Pahang Utara has been gained by PDM. Thank you very much.
All right, so right now we can see as the current state shows that PDM have managed to gain one more seat. So everyone, what's your current feelings? Or what are you hoping right now?
So, we are hoping that we are gaining back our seat, and just hope, just expect the unexpected.
Right. So now let's know. So right now, so to our audiences, currently to summarize, um, all right. So sorry to interrupt. So currently P10, Pahang, Selangtang is currently held by BRM. Now this means that currently that UMP is still in the lead with 6 seats, while PDM still has 4 seats. So so Mr. Jonas, are you hoping for victory tonight?
Well, I'm hoping for the best government to come out, and we never really came into the election hoping to be the government in all our force. We especially want to do the best we can do for the development of the country, which we can do both from the opposition benches and from the governmental benches. Difficult any assumptions as of right now on the results.
All right. So how about you, Mr. Everyone, Mr. Tun?
Sorry to interrupt. P11 Selangor Utara has been held by PDM.
Now
So
this
we are
means that
hoping.
apologies, you may continue on first. Mr. Evan, you may continue on first. Apologies for that.
Alright. So we are hoping that the best party will have the lead.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, just to summarize, currently PDM have 5 seats, while BRM have 6 seats. Now, there's only 19 seats left for all 3 parties to hold. This and currently UMP still have 0 seats. Now it seems that it's getting neck and neck soon with PDM and BRM closing in onto each other just by 1 seat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we can see there's some sort of excitement going on to see on who will be the next government for Malaysia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember 16 is the magic number for either parties to form the government. 16 seats.
Apologies, we would like to announce that P12, Lembang Klang, has been gained by PDM. Apologies. And we'd like to announce that P13 for Selangor Selatan has been gained by PDM.
Alright, this means that currently PDM have 7 seats while UMP still have 6 seats. Currently both parties are still currently neck and neck while UMP still have 0 seats. I say again, PDM currently now have 7 seats while BRM have 6 seats still, while UMP still have 0 seats. So, Mr. Evan, so what are your current thoughts of this sudden comeback with 2 seats being won?
So as I said before, we should continue expect the unexpected, and we are hoping that we can gain more seat on Borneo, as Borneo has been our stronghold, I believe, in a few terms.
Alright, how about for you, Mr. Jonas?
Well, as I said, we cannot really make assumptions from the results that we have had so far, and it has just been proven true by the sudden comeback of PDM with just 2 seats in Selangor.
Alright, now ladies and gentlemen, currently there's 17 seats left for 3 of the parties to hold, and as of now, BRM requires 10 seats in order to form a government, while currently PDM only needs 9 more seats to form the government. Now as time goes by, we shall see on who will be the next government for Malaysia. So, Mr. Keon, so what's your current opinion on this current results?
Well, as you heard just now, Lembah Klang is now back under PDM. Used to be my my stronghold. Yeah. There's nothing much I can say. From what Avillian said just now, expect the unexpected. I mean, like, you can't really say much about it at this point, but maybe it may turn, it may not turn. Yeah.
Sorry, I truly apologize for interrupting. P14 Kuala Lumpur has been held by PDM. So P14 Kuala Lumpur has been held by PDM.
Currently, there are 16 seats left, with 8 seats. UMM still holding. Will we see for BR? Right now, 0 seats. Will we see the BRM be the new government of Malaysia, or do we still see the PDM still holds the position of being the government of Malaysia again? We shall see as time passes by.
Alright, P15 Putrajaya has been held by BRM. I repeat, P15 Putrajaya has been held by BRM.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, BRM has made a comeback with seven seats this time. Now, this means that currently PDM requires 8 more seats to form the government of Malaysia, and BRM will require 9 more seats to form the government of Malaysia. And currently, still as of now, UMP still does not have any seats. And currently, there's 15 seats left. Will we see PDM still getting more seats, or do we see the unexpected outcome where UNP managed to gain a seat? Or will we see BRM become the new government of Malaysia after a few years of PDM rule?
Moving on, P16 Negeri Sembilan has been held by PDM. So P16 Negeri Sembilan has been held by PDM.
Right, currently, right now, as you can see, PDM have 8 seats, while UMP still have 7 seats. Seems like the competition is starting to get much more intensified, with the parties still having 1 seat away from each other.
Moving on, P17 Malacca has been gained by BRM.
Alright, currently both parties are neck and neck, with UMP still having 0 seats. Now, both parties require having 8 more seats just to be the next government of Malaysia. Now, we shall see on who will be the next government of Malaysia right now. This means that currently there's only 14 seats left for grabs.
Moving on, we have P18 Johor Utara being gained by BRM. I'll repeat that again. P18 Johor Utara being gained by BRM.
Right now, BRM only needs 7 more seats to be the next government. Will we see PDM make a comeback, or UMP at least getting 1 vote? We shall see. Seat. Alright, so as you can see right now that that the parties are currently closing in on one to another. So gentlemen, do you all feel the intensity right now? Maybe you can start off from Mr. Jonas.
Well, as the mechanic is switching, and so is the lead between the parties, it really is absolutely like a Steven Spielberg drama movie.
Alright, how about for you, Mr. Avilion?
Sorry, we just interrupt. P19 Johor Selatan is now gained by BRM.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this means that currently BRM have 10 seats while PDM still have 8 seats. This means that BRM only needs 6 more seats left while PDM still needs 8 more seats. Currently, as of now, UMP still have 0 seats, and currently there's only 13 seats left to be grabbed by either 3 of these parties, or maybe just PDM and BRM to grab. Right, now let's continue on. So, Mr. Keon, what's your current opinion on this current intensity where the parties either that they had a one seat difference and it keeps on switching, or the parties have a huge comeback in terms of getting them one seat as a comeback? So, what are your current feelings now?
Well, it is quite interesting. It's quite interesting to see that the two parties are fighting over each other. But as we can see now, BRM has 10 seats, I believe, and
Yes,
yeah,
10 seats.
hopefully, I'm pretty sure this parliament is going to be a hung parliament. No one would be able to get let's say a super majority or a big majority to the other party. But yeah, it's very interesting to see the results going to PDM and to BRM.
Right, we'd like to interrupt. P20, Labuan goes to DRM.
This means that currently BRM have 11 seats, which means they only need 5 more seats left to win this general election, while PDM still have 8. Well, PDM still have 8 seats, which means that they still require 8 more seats in order to win, while UMP still have 0. Will we see BRM being the new government or UMP making an unexpected victory? Or do we see PDM still holds as being the government of Malaysia again?
Right, we'd like to interrupt again. P21, Kudat, has been gained by BRM.
Alright, this means that currently BRM only require 4 more seats to reach 16. And currently PDM still stuck at 8 seats, while UMP still stuck at 0. Currently there's only 11 more seats left for grabs by the 3 parties, or maybe just PDM and BRM. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, there's some sort of close competition right now. Will we see PDM make a comeback? Right. Right. So, Mr. Evelyn, do you hope for a comeback as of right now?
Yes, I do.
How about Mr. Jonas? Currently, as you can see, your party only need 4 more seats to win. How are you feeling right now?
Well, as we are now just left over with Borneo to count, I still believe that PDM could gain seats here, but they will need to get, I think it is 8 seats?
Yeah, 8 more
8
seats.
seats of the leftover to have a simple majority, so they can only afford losing 2 of the seats left over to give out, so if that happens, it'll make this even more dramatic.
Maybe you should have told the producer to add in some music, but but anyways, so Mr. Kyo, so how are you feeling right now on the current change of events?
Well, I as I said earlier, it's quite interesting to see that BRM is coming back after I believe NSF haven't been a government since PPR, and hopefully they could come back again to become government, and hopefully they would do a good job.
All right.
We'd
Now,
like
ladies
to-
and gentlemen,
apologies, we'd like to interrupt. P22, Kinabalu, has been gained by PDM.
ladies and gentlemen, this means that PDM have currently 9 seats, while BRM still have 12 seats, while UMP still have 0, which means that currently there's only 9 more seats left. This means that PDM only requires about 6 more seats in order to gain 16. Apologies, I mean 7. While currently BRM still needs 4. Now, as of right now, you can see it's probably that UMP won't be able to form the next government of Malaysia, as there isn't really much seats left for them to gain to be the next government manager. So right now we can only see on whether if either PDM or BRM will be the next government, with only 9 seats left to gain.
All right, we'd like to break it up again. P23 before has been gained by PDM, alongside with P24, Kinabatangan, has been gained by PDM.
This means that currently PDM have 11 seats. Right now we are back to a close competition where both parties have a 1 seat difference from each other. This means that currently that PDM only requires 5 more seats left, while BRM requires 4 more seats left. Gentlemen, how are you feeling right now as results are currently closing in and being neck and neck in each other right now? Let's start off from Mr. Avilion.
So I don't have the exact reaction right now. So for now, I'll just sit and watch, continue to watch it.
All right, how about Mr. Jonas? What's your opinion on this current intensity?
This is rolling, and I'm sad I didn't bring any popcorn with myself for this.
We interrupt again. P25, Tawau, has been gained by PDM.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, currently there's a neck and neck between PDM and BRM with 12 seats each. Currently, there's only 6 more seats left for grabs, which means that one party needs to get the 4 seats, while the other party will have to get the remaining 2, or probably lose all 6 to either parties. Right, with the parties neck and neck, seems like there's some sort of huge intensity going around in the live chat on our YouTube page. So so for Mr. Jonas, what would you like to say to your reporters who are currently watching right now?
To get some food for the last finishing line of 5 seats for this, because this might as well just be a tied victory by 2 seats, or even a tie if the things continue going the direction they went so far this whole night.
Okay, so how about for you, Mr. Avila? What would you like to say to your supporters who are currently watching right now?
To all Malaysian out there, thank you for your support and your votes for PDM. And we appreciate your trust for PDM. Let's go forward.
All right, breaking up again. P26, Kuching, has been gained by PDM.
Ladies and gentlemen, this means that currently PDM have 13 seats, while BRM still have 12 seats and UMP still have 0 seats. Right now, as you can see, there's another competition again, with PDM only requiring 3 more seats left to win this general election, while BRM still needs 4 more seats left. Which means that currently there's only 5 more seats left for grabs. So everyone stay awake, keep staying tuned to this channel. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see your support for your parties in the live chat.
Apologies to break it up again. P27, Sri Aman, has been gained by PDM.
This means that currently PDM have 14 seats, while BRM still have 12 seats, and UMP still having 0 seats. This means that there's only 4 more seats left for grabs. Will BRM get all those 4 seats, or PDM get them all to have a simple majority? So our viewers of BERITA, so keep on expressing your support for your party in the live chat right now. As we continue to look on who will rule or who will continue to rule Malaysia, if you know what I mean.
Right, we interrupt again. P28 Cebu has been gained by PDM.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, PDM have 15 seats right now, while BRM still have 12 seats. It's only take one more seat for PDM to win this general election. So come on and stay tuned. So, Mr. Evian, how are you feeling right now, considering that you just only need one more seat to win?
Well, as I said before, expect the unexpected. So, yeah, we are quite happy to see we need one more seat to go. So, we are happy for it. Thank you, Malaysia.
Right, as like you said, expect the unexpected. Will we see BRM taking the remaining 3 seats to get 15 seats? Or do we see PDM getting one more seat to continue to rule Malaysia? Ladies and gentlemen, sit tight and let's enjoy this show together as one Malaysia. So Mr. Keon, so what are your feelings about this current result right now, with PDM having to just need one more vote? I mean, sorry, one more seat to form the government again.
Well, as I said earlier, it will be a hung parliament. No one would have a big majority. But yeah, it's very near. Oh my god. Yeah, it's very near. But I would uh I would assume that PDM would, I mean, it's just one more seat, right? PDM would just
Yeah.
be the government. Yeah. I would say that the exit poll is quite accurate as well.
Very well. Let's thank that to our other political analysts who is also working behind the scenes to gather such results. Now, Mr. Jonas, so what's your current opinion on this? Well, very intensified moment right now.
Well, my calls came true that PDM is gonna have a surge in Borneo, and we can still get a really tight parliament if we get the leftover seats for BRM. But I do not think that will happen from my own perspective.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight and keep staying tuned to BERITA to watch closely on who will or who will continue to rule Malaysia.
Guess
As-
what, Phillips? I got some good news.
All
Bad news,
right.
depending. All right, so P29 Miri goes to EDM.
This means that PDM have officially gained 16 seats, which is the requirement to form the government again.
Sorry, we
That's-
just interrupt. There's currently some breaking news apparently.
Oh, what is it?
While it comes through, let's just wait.
All right. So this means that PDM have officially gained 16 seats right now. But however, this is not the end yet, as there's still 3 more seats.
Before we announce the breaking news, let's just announce the final seat result. For seat P30, Limbang, the seat officially goes to PM.
Right. So this means that PDM have officially won the 14th general election of Malaysia 2021. Now, although PDM have won this general election, but however, from BERITA, we would still like to congratulate to all the parties involved, and we also like to thank the SPR for providing the results to us. Now, not only that, we would like to thank the BERITA staff behind this, and also along with the collaborations we had with Polemic and with sorry with well, I forgot, but apologize for that. But anyways, back to Jingle Kilman and Lash Dilima.
All right. What a night it's actually been. Now, thank you all for joining this general election program and gather to witness the new era of politics. However, we must end the... Sorry?
However, we must end the program now as the night has passed, and we've witnessed enough. We shall now bid our farewell. I'm Lushdad Limau 125.
And I'm It's Fields.
I'm Jingo Killaman.
And we'll see you sooner or later.
Farewell, Malaysia.
You're watching BERITA, and soon we are going to be signing off and go off air. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you soon.